G'day, Chief. Welcome to the Inner Chief podcast and this special episode, which we call the Mini Chief. These are short, sharp highlights from our fabulous CEO guests, where you get a 5 to 10 minute snapshot of the highlights from their episode. Righto, Chief. Without further ado, here is the Mini Chief episode for this week with Joel Holland, CEO of Harvest Hosts. Hey, what was the best strategic move or negotiation tactic during the sale process of Storyblocks that really paid dividends?
Oh, well, I guess this goes back to, again, the personal side of things. I knew when we went to sell Storyblocks that I didn't want to be a part of the next entity.
Yeah, sure.
And you got to be really clear about that up front, because if you get into the process as the founder, especially, the buyer puts a lot of value on the founder and really like tries, for better or for worse, right or wrong, they think the founder had a lot to do with the success of the company, and they want them in the next phase. And so in the case of Storyblocks, we were selling to a private equity firm. I knew that they would want me to roll some equity and stay involved. I wasn't going to do that. Yeah. And so from the very beginning, I was clear about that I'm not going to the next phase. And I didn't actually go to any of the meetings. So I had my CEO and executive team. They ran the whole process. I never attended a single meeting to show how absolutely useless I was to the process.
That's a very interesting move. I've not heard that before. That's great. Yeah. And you can go skip.
Worked.
Okay, let's talk about Harvest Hosts. We have a sort of equivalent in Australia, which is called HipCamp. Do you know HipCamp?
Of course, yeah.
So you purchased Harvest Hosts in 2018. It's a membership network that gives RVers, in Australia that's caravanners, access to unique overnight experiences at over 5,000 farms, wineries, breweries, museums, golf courses. So they get out of the RV park and into nature, right? That's the key, which is one of those RV parks drive me nuts. Look, this is different this time. So this time you don't start, you buy something. What was different about that? What was harder about buying it as opposed to building it?
Yeah, I mean, so...
Second question, by the way, is what was easier?
Well, I was going to say, because honestly, the long story short is it's way freaking easier. Yeah, and and I think that my mantra now is like, first you build it, then you buy it. Like the first company, I think building from the ground up is a great way to learn a lot from A to Z. But one of the things you learn is where you add the most value to the process. Yeah. And I guarantee it's not everything, right? And so finding product market fit with a startup is by far the hardest thing in the world. So when you buy a company, you skip that. You're ideally buying one that has product market fit, and then you're applying your expertise. Yeah. Now, to your question about what's harder is having to outlay a bunch of money to buy a company that you know you could theoretically build yourself from the ground up. And so you're like, here I am. I'm going to pay millions for the thing. I know I could do this. That's hard. Yeah. Cutting that check is difficult, and then of course questioning yourself on like, am I overpaying? Is this the right price? Am I going to buy this and it's going to fall apart tomorrow? I'm going to lose everything, right? Like that. The financial investment is very real when you buy. The time and emotional investment is very real when you build. So it's really like, one hand, in the other, but like, that's what's hard, is turning over the money. But then after doing it one time, I've now bought 5 companies. It is so much easier. I mean, you basically find a company that you really like or believe in, is what I do. Something I personally just love, with a great concept, solid brand. And then ahead of time, think about like, where can I add value to it? And so with Harvest Hosts, it was easy. I loved RVing. I'd fallen in love with RVing. I found this business that was a subscription-based business for RVers, caravanners. And I asked myself some simple questions, which were, if I buy this and I paid a multiple of cash flow, which is how a lot of businesses are purchased. So I might've paid like 5 times cash flow, which effectively meant the business was returning 20% a year, 20% IRR. Unless I screwed it up. And so that was the first thing I said was, okay, am I confident that I can buy this company and not screw it up? At least keep it going as well as they did.
Mhm.
And if the answer is yes, and I felt confident that it was yes, I was like, I'm getting a 20% return on my money. That's way better than anywhere else in the market.
Mhm.
I'm like, I couldn't invest
Exactly.
anywhere and get that kind of return.
Exactly.
Here I can have, a cool business and get 20% a year. And then I said, there is upside. And
Mm.
what do I think it is? And I thought it was improve the technology and start marketing and advertising. And
Yeah.
I felt that I could grow
Mm.
the membership base. And so then 20% is your low side. And then the upside was much larger, right?
Mm.
And ultimately bought it. I took this playbook from Storyblocks, consolidated all the
Mm.
things I learned over the years
Mm.
for pricing, technology, growing, a digital business,
Yep.
and applied it. And we grew the thing like 6,000% over 3 years. And it was way beyond what I had expected, but it worked within my thesis, which was worst case 20%, because I was confident I wouldn't screw it up. So that's it. Buy businesses that you're confident you can't screw up, and it's all upside.
Yeah. We did a great interview with Jay Abraham a while back, and he spoke a lot about this incredible time in the history of business where, because we have so many business owners retiring and going into the sort of age, the aging demographic, that there's just so many great opportunities out there. Millions of businesses. It's not thousands. There's millions of businesses being sold around the world. One of my little hobbies is to see if I can build like the Venn diagram of three. So imagine three overlapping circles of what is someone's sort of superpower. And I'm sitting here thinking about you, and I'm wondering: is it finance, technology, and marketing growth? Is it those three together? Is that plus you're just a nice guy and you've got loads of energy and hard work? But is that the technical side?
It's really cool. It's really cool that you mentioned the Venn diagram, because this isn't a theoretical practice. This is a very real practice that I did when I found Harvest Host, which was I like to do these as part of my monthly board meeting. I do 30-day challenges.
Yep.
And they're always different. But one 30-day challenge that I did was I want to find a business in the RV space to grow, to basically buy and build. And every day I would look. But the reason I decided on the RV space was I did a Venn diagram of what I was good at. And in one, it was stock media.
Yeah.
Another one was RVing.
Yep.
Totally different industries. And in the middle, where they overlapped, was memberships, digital products, and marketing. And those were three things that I was very confident in. And I thought, even though they're totally different products, like industries, I bet you there's more similarities than differences when it comes to marketing a membership product to an enthusiast base.
Chief, there you have it for this week with our mini Chief episode. All the links and resources can be found at chiefmaker.com/328. And if you'd like to stay in touch with Chief Maker, just go to chiefmaker.com/subscribe. Now, Chief, do you find yourself at work in one of those incredibly stressful moments where you've got someone on your team that either isn't performing or is behaving poorly, and you know deep down that it needs a difficult conversation? One of those ones that can keep you up at night. If you get wrong, there's going to be HR issues, but if you get right, could actually be a little bit career defining, and it will make life so much better for so many people, but you just keep putting it off and off and off. Well, Chief, we've created the ultimate resource for you. It is called Difficult Conversations. Download. It's not hard, but what's in it is what's most powerful. The mindsets, the frameworks, and even some of the scripts, the words to use to make those conversations much more easy. Just go to chiefmaker.com/difficult and you could download the full resource right there. Righto, Chief. As always, remember to stay